sucks. As a female musician, especially within guitar music in this country or in any country, it's really difficult. I mean, I don't feel our voices have ever been at the forefront. So our stories and our narratives have been silenced. So I think it's really important to write about your experience. And I'm having obviously a very female experience when I walk out the door every day. So I can't help but put that in my work.
So yeah. Okay.
I went to about uni late. I mean, I actually went to University of Arts. I went to London College of Fashion. Really, I don't know if my gender really had as much effect on my experience as my class. So, I mean, I come from a working class background, first person to have gone to university, and I went back when I was 25, and I went to Birkbeck. I think that was probably more of a effect of my experience in there, and why I went was because, you know, I could see things, but I didn't have the language to express them, and going into university helped me do that and helped me realise that, you know, I was a feminist, I've always been a feminist, and then I had to walk through white feminism, I had to find black feminism, I had to do all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think when we, you know, especially in feminism and when we're talking about gender, we don't have discussions around class, we're really kind of failing ourselves a lot. And, you know, when I went to London College of Fashion first, because I did a foundation there, that was a very classed experience, and my work at that time was photography, and I really tried to look at that and challenge that. And just little things like, you know, this London College of Fashion, so everyone's like trying to get the latest Alexander McQueen bag or whatever they're doing there. And halfway through the year, my tutor asked me, what is it that you wanted to do? I wanted to do costume design at that point, and then she went, so why are you on this course? And I was like, well, I thought if I just did a course here, then I could go on to the degree that I wanted. And it was because I didn't have that support network around me to actually inform me what paths I needed to choose. So I just literally was doing it all myself. I read the prospectus and went, oh, okay, then I'll do this and I'll do that. I mean, I didn't get into the course because I didn't do the right foundation course. So then I went off and worked in fashion all the time. But yeah, I think those things in university, I think, are really a lot more important than gender, I think.
Yeah, I think we could come back to the issue of class, but I think that mainly women constitute the majority in the kind of arts setup. You'll only find like it's a kind of something like an 80-20 split, or so actually it should be a supportive space.
Yes.
And in 2016 we could say that it on the whole is. I think there are strange things that happen that kind of resurface from the past, which, you know, even as I was saying earlier, that I actually have kind of willingly institutionalized myself over the years, so going from a foundation, undergrad, years in a kind of art residency, then a master's, then a PhD, and now teaching, not because I think that's the right thing to do, but because exactly what Chardane's saying about being able to kind of acquire a language to be able to participate at a higher level, and I'm not saying that a higher level is better, but just to be able to kind of function within an institution and do something with it. As the years went on, I realised I can speak about this, I can actually do something with it. And when I, just to give you an example of a strange thing that I still scratch my head about, when I did my PhD, I got a teaching bursary. The only reason I could do my PhD was because I got the teaching bursary. But when I got the teaching bursary, I was offered the post of textiles, and the two men who also got teaching bursaries were offered art and curating. And I said to the panel after, thank you so much for bursary, I actually really need this money, thanks so much. Can you just tell me why I was given textiles? Because I'm a fine artist and that's my specialism.
Yes.
And then there was this awkward moment in the room where everybody said, it's just something in the texture of your work, or that, you know, there was this awkward, like, digging really deep to try and find a reason why I'd been assigned textiles. So for the next year I taught textiles and I brought in what I could to the subject, and then I went on and moved on to fine art. But until that point, I still don't know why. You know, that a woman would be assigned something that's potentially linked to being a woman, and it's just like, these things resurface constantly within the institution, and they're very dinosaur tactics, or old school tactics that I can't explain why that still persists, but it does.
Have you noticed, I'm going to ask the panel a question myself, have you noticed that how, I mean, I work occasionally at the Museum of Brands and Advertising, and everyone there, all the staff are women, and then the top is a guy, and it's like seems to be in every sort of charity that I've worked in, every arts institute that I've worked in. It's mostly women that are working, but the top senior positions is usually a white man, or there's, you know, a board of men or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm currently on my MA Fine Art here at Chelsea, and even though the majority of the course are female, all the tutors are male, and it's kind of a difficult one, because of course you want people who are there because, you know, they're right for the job, but at the same time it's that sort of thinking, well, why are all of our tutors male? Is there going to be a disconnection, or is it going to be fine? I don't know, but the discussion of gender comes up a lot on the course. You know, the discussions can be fiery, but I think that's important. But yeah, that's been throughout my arts education. The question of gender has never been as prevalent as it is now.